Welcome to This Week in East Brunswick. Today we'll head up to East Brunswick High School, where last Saturday before the boys basketball game, the championship boys basketball teams from 1987 and 1996 were honored. Athletic Director Frank Knoppenberger spoke with the players and will have some highlights from those memorable games. We'll take a trip to the Zimmerli Art Museum in New Brunswick and view two exhibits now on display. And we'll have another preview of an upcoming film at the New Jersey Film Festival, so stay with us.
East Brunswick is the GMC champs. 57-53, and we'll let the picture do the talking.
East Brunswick High School recently honored the 1987 and 1996 GMC Championship basketball teams with a pregame ceremony before the Bears took on Roselle at home. Athletic director and head coach of the 1987 team, Frank Knoppenberger, spoke with players and coaches about their memories of the championship seasons and their predictions for the future of the Bears.
I know it was a few years ago, but tell us about that 87 team.
Yeah, it was a team. Started the season as the Bad News Bears. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't pretty, but it was each and every day of practice. All the discipline, just getting up and just focusing on the fundamentals. So as the year progressed, it was just one game at a time. All leading up to the championship game. Probably a lot of people never thought we would make it there. But at the end, it was a great team, lots of hard work, lots of effort, and just showed a lot of the heart that the team had at that time.
Now, that was prior to the three-point play, and if my memory is correct, you hit a big foul shot that put us up 3, which kind of sealed the game at that point. Is my memory correct, or give me a little bit of your memory of that championship game?
Yeah, I mean, the game, it was almost a blur. I mean, it was just a tremendous experience. But yeah, it was right down at the end. I had a chance to make a free throw before the three-point play. They were up 2. Everyone biting their nails. I got a great picture of you, Mr. Knopp, head in the hands, worrying. Probably didn't even look at the shot. But you know what? Sealed it with that free throw. And I remember just the celebration afterwards was incredible.
One more question. Does your varsity jacket still fit, Lar? And let's see if you can buckle that. Not bad, not bad. How about if you can turn around and let's see that. Is that soccer or basketball back there? Okay, very good. GMC champs.
That's right.
Okay.
So even after moving for 5 times, one message. My wife said, throw it out. And this is the day to keep it, exactly why I've kept it for all these years.
Yeah, I think my fondest memory of that season is the fact that between 86 and 87, we went 49-7. We just didn't know what it was to lose. We had won the championship, the state championship the year prior as a sophomore, and then beat J.P. Stevens for the county title in 87. It was just a real close group of guys. We used to give you the gray hair that you have now, but a lot of us had come up together through Hammersholt and Churchill, and we came together here for the first time and we were 2 separate middle schools, so we played on competing teams. And then when we came to the high school, we fused together as a team, and it was just interesting to see how when you look at the roster, who came from what program, and then to become one team, it was just a sort of a nice feeling to play with the guys who you wanted to beat just a year prior.
Mark, I know it was a few years ago, and just try to recall, what were your thoughts of that season, and do you remember that championship game?
Absolutely. It was a magical season. We had a lot of great players. We were 25-3 that year, and I think the year before we were 24-4, and to build on that and make it even better and win our first GMC title was tremendous. And I learned a lot from it was Coach Knopp then. It inspired me to become a coach up here. And I was able to learn a lot of things. Watching a lot of great players we had on that team gave me the confidence and the desire to get better as a senior playing that next year. And, it was just a magical season with a lot of great players, a lot of great personalities, a lot of fun. And it's great to see a couple people today, and hopefully we'll try to get together with the rest of the team later on. But it was a magical season.
Mr. Keith Lane has the distinct advantage of being on the bench as an assistant coach for both championship seasons. In that 87 season, he was a 8th grade coach for the program, but the funny thing, he was at every varsity game sitting the bench, and when he could, he'd be at a practice. jump back 9 years, 10 years later, he's the JV coach on that 96 team. How about that first championship game when I was the coach?
Oh, definitely a lot of good memories. I remember there was a lot of good coaching. Coach Zimmerli was the coach at J.P. Stevens. Good coach, good program. Obviously, you were the coach for the East Brunswick team. And I thought it was a really exciting time for East Brunswick and East Brunswick basketball because we were so good. And like I said, we had good coaching and a lot of talent. And it was good to see us playing in a championship game. And it was at the RAC. It was at Rutgers, which was a big venue. So I think it was just an exciting time for basketball in East Brunswick.
And now I'm with co-captain, senior guard Matt Van Leeuwen, who is the all-state candidate for our team that year, and he's also our all-time leading scorer for the men at East Brunswick.
That season, I remember, it was a great season for all of us. A lot of wins, and I remember the championship game was basically our revenge game since Piscataway beat us the previous year 3 times, so that was our way of getting back at them. It's a great way to end the season for us.
Right. And I think we had 2 disappointing losses, and the irony of one of them was that when you scored your 1,000th point?
That is correct. Perth Amboy at home.
And it was right after a snowstorm or something.
Correct,
right?
yeah. We were out of school for a few days, so I think no practice and just being laid off for a while. We were a little rusty.
But they were a quality club. Club. So now you graduate, Matt, and you go on to college. Tell us about where you played college, point guard, and your career there.
After high school, I went on and did a year of prep school up in Massachusetts, and then I went on to Merrimack College up in Massachusetts as well, where I played shooting guard.
Mike, what do you recall from that game and that season way back then?
We had a really good team. Matt Van Leeuwen, he was probably the best player I've ever played with. I remember the quarterfinal game was close with Edison, and then the semifinal game with St. Peter's, we struggled a little bit, but came through at the end. And then, of course, Piscataway, we had to beat them 3 times in order to win.
It was definitely a few years ago, but an incredible year, 22-2 record if I'm not mistaken, GMC championship, played with a lot of incredible people, and really just an incredible year. We had a really good run and had a lot of fun with it.
Now, Dave, you were you were on a championship soccer team and basketball. Can you compare the emotions of both sports? I think there's a lot more pressure on you as being a soccer town, but compare the two.
It's difficult to compare the two. I mean, each one have their own challenges, but we had a lot of great success with both of them, and just had an incredible time with it all. Like I said, it's difficult to pick one over the other. Had great teammates on both teams, and like I said, had a lot of success with all of it. So it was great all around.
Well, you know what, kind of leading up to the game, we had a real tough game in the semis against St. Peter's, which was a great game, which we won in overtime. But, Piscataway had a good team that year. They, the year before, had 2 really good players, so they were not quite as good, but we had beat them 2 times, and, they always say it's tough to beat a team 3 times. So, I remember Coach Henning saying after the game he thought that was our best game from start to finish of the whole year. So it was, great memory, and it's good watching it now and kind of reliving, some of those memories.
The season itself, I just remember we were in so many good, tough, close games, and remember we weren't a very big squad, so very, very scrappy, bunch of kids, and I remember before the finals talking to Paul Shobe, the Piscataway coach, and saying to him, "You've got enough of these, Paul. I need one of these right now." So they didn't let us win, but it was great to get it against them.
It sure was. You shut them down. But I guess the year before, as Van Leeuwen pointed out, they beat us 3 times, and it was nice revenge.
Yeah, it definitely was. They had our number that year. It was great to get to the finals that year, and it might have helped us that following year. We were a lot more comfortable throughout the tournament, I thought, but it was good to finish it off against them.
So let's just jump to this year now, John. You've seen everyone in the conference, in the state. Any predictions for the Bears? I know you don't like to predict, but give the audience an unbiased account.
First of all, I do the top 20 rankings for the Star Ledger, and I currently have East Brunswick number 7 in the whole state. And once you take care of all the non-public schools, the St. Anthony's and the Hudson Catholic, I think they're the 3rd-ranked public school team in the state, which says a lot. This team has all the ingredients. They have like the backcourt, like 3-point shooters, inside presence, like a real good bench, and of course, excellent coach and Coach Henning. With the county kind of being a little bit down this year, it's basically going to be East Brunswick and St. Joe. And East Brunswick, as everybody knows, that beat St. Joe's on opening night. So that rematch is going to be a preview for the final. As far as a prediction for that, when we get there, we'll talk about it.
Oh, I think we have a tremendous chance on winning the GMC title this year. Obviously, most people know about St. Joe's. They're one of the better teams in the state. But as of now, we went into their place for opening night and beat them, so we're confident to beat them again. It looks like we'll probably be facing them again in the GMC tournament at some point, possibly the finals. So we're looking forward to that opportunity, not only in the finals of the GMCs, but the states this year, because we feel we have the team to do it, and we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to trying to repeat of 87 and 96. That'd be great.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. I think us and St. Joe's easily the two best teams in the county now, and I think we could definitely win the county championship. But St. Joe's is a very good team also.
Now, Rich, some people think we're maybe weak on the bench this year, and you still have that youthful look about you. If you were to put the uniform on, could you play with these guys?
If I could get subbed out after a minute, I could give one good minute probably, and then I'd need a sub. But, I always talk to Coach Henning. This team that they have this year is excellent. Amir Bell, who's a great point guard who is going to go to Princeton. I don't think I'd like that matchup playing against him. But, I think I could maybe give a minute.
We've had many good teams since then, but this year may be an exceptional team. I think we're rated number 7 in the state, the highest I can remember us ever being. We are good. We know we're good. How do you think we're progressing? Are we still getting better, or are better days ahead of us? And what's your thoughts of the upcoming games?
That's a good question. I do think we're getting better, but our preparation into the season has been the key. The kids put so much time in the off season and the fall and that, and they've played together so much. You can just see a comfort level out there that goes with all really good teams, as you well know. What we need to do is to develop a little bit more of our bench play. If we can do that, then we're not susceptible to a bad day in foul trouble, things like that. So if that gets accomplished, they can reach some of the same goals that these teams that we're honoring today will reach too.
We are the EBHS, East Brunswick Bears.
Christine, tell us a little bit about the exhibition here.
Well, this current exhibition is part of an exhibition program that we have here in the European Galleries, where we change the exhibition of works on paper twice a year. And so we try to do a major selection in the fall and then again in the spring. And this current selection is of about 35 works from a huge collection of about 1,500 works that we have from this very unusual project from the end of the 19th century called Le Mur. And Le Mur took place at the Cabaret des Quatre Arts, which translates to the Cabaret of the Four Arts, in the Montmartre district of Paris, which at the time was the real bohemian section of Paris. And there was a group of regulars at this cafe, some artists, writers, musicians, actors, who got together and tried out their material on each other. They talked about current events. They were trying to have art and life work together constantly. They got the idea to create what they called a journal that would be comprised of drawings and writings and found newspaper clippings and things like that they would then post on the wall of the cabaret. And they took this very seriously, and they called it Le Mur, which means the wall. At the beginning, they would choose an editor who from among them, and they were in charge of making the selection of things that would go on the wall. And it would change every 4 days. And then eventually they decided it should change every day. And from what we know about it, it lasted for about 10 years, but we know that there were some significant breaks when nothing happened for a few months, and then they would get excited about it again and go again.
What was the time period?
It was from about 1894 to 1904.
And what is it that appeals to you so much about the exhibit?
One of the great things about it is just the fact that it survives and it is here. I don't think these gentlemen who are working on it thought of it as something that was going to be like a work of art, capital W, capital A. They saw this as sort of a living, breathing project that was important to them and whoever saw it, but they had no real intention of it ever being in a museum, I'm sure. So that part of that is exciting. I feel like we're getting a chance to see these artists in action in a way, and what was important to them on a daily basis.
It seems almost to be the social media of the time.
Yes, it does. In the idea of sort of one topic being very important to them for a while. There's, for instance, at the time, France was becoming a major colonial presence in Madagascar, and there are many drawings and writings that referred both to that and just colonial enterprise in general. There's one performer, a gentleman named Jehan Rictus, who performed at the Cabaret de Cassatt, and he seems to have been sort of one of their go-to personalities who appears in many of the drawings. And so in a way, it's like, a video that goes viral or things like that. It definitely does seem like there is this real social interactive aspect to it.
We've moved upstairs to an exhibition by one of my favorite artists. Can you tell us about this one?
Yes, this exhibition is called Mary Cassatt Prints in the Company of Women. It is primarily drawn from the Zimmerli's collection of prints. The Zimmerli is fortunate to have 17 works in the collection by Mary Cassatt, and we just thought it would be a great opportunity to bring them all out together. They've been out individually in different contexts, but this is the first time in about probably 35 years that they've been shown as a group here at the Zimmerli.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the prints themselves?
Yes, these date from around 1889 through about 1897, and this is the period when Mary Cassatt really became serious about being a printmaker. Up to that point, she was very focused on her paintings, but in the 1880s, she started to experiment with other media, among them the printmaking media. And the bulk of the exhibition here is the Zimmerli's, it's called the Set of 12, and it's called that because in 1890 she exhibited a set of 12 dry point prints in a major exhibition in Paris, and it was her first sort of major public statement as a printmaker.
Can you say something about dry point?
Yes, dry point is one of the printmaking medium. It's sort of related to etching. An artist takes a copper plate and essentially scratches very fine lines in the plate. Dry point is very well known both for the precision that you need, but also because you can create these very velvety, dark effects with the medium.
What would you say about the appeal of Mary Cassatt's work?
Well, the other nice thing about the Set of 12, not only is it a major statement of her art in a technical way, but also in terms of the subject matter, because this is the first moment where she becomes the artist of women and children. In the Set of 12, 6 of the prints show women with small children in very intimate moments, and the other 6 show women in very private and reflective moments. And it really declares Mary Cassatt as the artist of the modern woman of the late 19th century.
The Zimmerli has many programs in addition to the exhibitions here. Can you talk about a few of them?
Yes. Well, our signature program is Art After Hours, which is the first Wednesday of every month from 5 to 9 p.m. And it's usually the events of the evening are based around one exhibition. And we try to have always a curator tour of the exhibition, and then some kind of performing arts be it music or poetry reading, or at the last one we had a film screening, and there's always refreshments and usually some kind of hands-on art activity as well.
If people would like to see these exhibitions, how much longer do they have?
The Mary Cassatt exhibition will be on through March 3rd, and the Lemire exhibition will be on through February 23rd.
Can you give us a little bit of the basic information about the Zimmerli, where and when?
The Zimmerli Art Museum is located at 71 Hamilton Street on the College Avenue campus of Rutgers in New Brunswick. We are open September through July, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Tuesdays through Fridays, noon to 5 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays, and 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. the first Wednesday of the month. We are closed Mondays, major holidays, and the month of August.
And your website?
Our website is www.zimmerlimuseum.rutgers.edu.
Hello folks, it's Al Nygren from the New Jersey Film Festival with the second of our filmmaker interviews here today. The New Jersey Film Festival will be taking place January 25th through March 2nd. You can get complete information at our website, njfilmfest.com. If you'd also like to take the time to vote for us as the favorite New Jersey Film Festival, you can go to the jerseyarts.com/People's Choice website and vote for us. We are the reigning champs, and we want to get the dynasty going, so please do vote for us if you like our film festival. We do have two wonderful folks here today to talk about their film. On Sunday, January 27th, we'll be screening and premiering Lost Child, Sayon's Journey, directed by Janet Gardner and produced by Sapiep Theme. And they're both here today to talk about their film, and I wanted to welcome you. Hi, Janet. Nice to meet you, Sapiep. And please, Janet, tell us, how did you get interested in making this film?
Well, I first met Sayon, who's Sopiep's brother-in-law now, when he was dating her sister, who's a friend of mine. And I met her when I was doing my first film on Cambodia, which is called Dancing Through Death. And for a long time, Sayon was reluctant to tell his story. He's a former Khmer Rouge child soldier who was abducted at the age of about 6. He's not sure how old he is, and he's not sure exactly what age he was when he was abducted. But finally, after knowing him for a few years, I think he felt comfortable enough to tell his story. And it's really a story of what love can do, and his redemption and his recovery from his experience. Although he says that he never will quite recover from what he learned as a child, what he witnessed. So I think it also speaks to the power of family and the insanity of a society that would try to turn itself upside down and destroy the family, which is what the Khmer Rouge did.
1.6 million people, right? The Khmer Rouge killed in Cambodia.
1.7.
1.7. Crazy.
Some of them starved, some of them were executed, and some of them, I think, just succumbed to the hard labor that they were subjected to. I mean, old people and young people and people that wore glasses, people that they considered intellectuals or had ties to royalty, such as the Cambodian classical dancers.
They were done away with. And this war child, I guess that's the best way to describe Sayon, as now living in the United States. Tell us a little bit about that. I mean, a lot of your film takes place in Massachusetts.
A lot of it takes place in Lowell, which is the second largest Cambodian community in the United States, after Long Beach, California. There are about 30,000 Cambodians living there, and one of them is my co-producer, Sapiep Thiem, and I'll let her tell a little bit about life in Lowell.
Well, life in Lowell is new to me too. Actually, I just moved about 3 years ago.
Wow.
My family grew in Connecticut, and Sayon as well. He grew in Connecticut. But when my older sister graduated from college, she really wanted to reconnect with the Cambodian community, so she moved up there. Sayon at that time was already living there, so they've been really involved in the community. They are on the boards of so many organizations. My sister is so active. It's great to be able to come to a country and be involved in the community and take part and have your voice kind of be projected out.
Yeah, because a lot of folks don't know that much about Cambodia post-Vietnam.
It's true. We worked on an exhibit that was featured in the film, The More Than a Number, which is actually a collection of the Cambodian refugees and their stories of how they survived. I remember bringing in guests that were of Jewish descent. They know about the Holocaust, but no one really knew that much about the Cambodian history, not even the community members.
Really? So tell us how you actually ended up focusing specifically on him. Because he was available, or because you had a connection with him, or?
Sayon,
I mean, he's a very sympathetic character.
Sayon is a very, very special person, a remarkable person. My late husband was an anthropologist, and he was really knocked out by Sayon and his charisma and how he acculturated, I guess that's the word, how he went from being a child soldier and, really kind of brainwashed by the Khmer Rouge and made a transition to being adopted by an American family, and a lot of credit, I think, goes to them as well. Yeah. But eventually he migrated to Lowell, where I think he felt comfortable because everybody there speaks Khmer. And he's now leading an organization called Light of Cambodian Children, which is dedicated to keeping Cambodian kids off the streets and involved in sports and healthy activities, and helping them stay in school. And he worked with the police before that in terms of going into houses and asking people, why aren't you sending your child to school? And I think a lot of them were scared of the police. And
well, Janet, we only have a few more seconds to go, but I wanted to let people know our jury just absolutely loved this film. They thought it was very engaging. They felt as if, here's a sensitive human being that went through such horror that there is a chance for somebody to turn their life around. So, folks, if you want to see a wonderful humanist documentary, you absolutely must come on Sunday, January 27th, when we premiere Lost Child Sayon's Journey. And Janet will be there, Sop Hip will be there, and we may even have Sayon there as well, who will be coming down from Massachusetts. They'll be doing a Q&A session at the end of the screening, and we'll be introducing the film too. So, folks, please join us. More information is available at our website at njfilmfest.com, and we hope to see you at the movies. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for coming, folks.
Oh, it's our pleasure.